Everybody wants to win, but nobody wants to wait. And that's why most people lose. Let me tell you something that may hurt a little. You don't fail because you're not smart. You don't lose because you're not beautiful. You're like Cinderella did. You miss your blessing because you rush into places God was still preparing. You meet someone and within 2 weeks, you're already building castles in the sky. With someone who doesn't even own a ladder, you chase success like it's a race, but success is not Amazon Prime, baby. It doesn't come fast. Love is fake love. Like Cinderella did. And let's be real, you already knew that. You felt it, you lived it. That rush, that intensity, that spark that lights up like fireworks but fizzles out before you even learn their middle name. It's exciting but it's empty. It's passionate but it's hollow. And yet, like Cinderella did, we keep falling for it over and over again. Why? Because we confuse intensity with intention. We mistake attention for affection. And we assume fast must mean fate. But it doesn't. See, love that comes too quickly usually skips the foundation. It skips the questions. It skips the growth. It's like trying to microwave a 5-star meal. It might look good on the outside, but inside still raw, still undercooked, still not ready. Let me give you an example. Imagine you meet someone on Monday, and by Wednesday, you're already fantasizing about what your wedding pictures will look like. You don't even know their core values yet. Like Cinderella did, you don't even know how they handle disappointment, how they resolve conflict, or how they act when they don't get their way. All you know is how they made you feel for 5 minutes. Not how they show up when life gets real. And that right there is how fast love fools you. Real love isn't about how fast someone says, I love you. It's about how consistent they are after they say it. Think about the difference between a firework and a fireplace. A firework is loud, bright, exciting, and gone in seconds. A fireplace, it's quiet, it's steady, and it keeps you warm all night. One is about performance. The other is about presence. Which one do you really want in your life? We live in a world addicted to speed. Fast food, fast followers, and now, fast love. But when you rush love, you don't just risk heartbreak. You risking yourself in the process. Because when you chase someone too quickly, you bypass your own needs, your own standards, your own healing. You start shrinking to fit the comfort zone. You start ignoring the red flags because it feels so good. You tell yourself, we just clicked instantly. When deep down, you're terrified of being alone. And the truth is, people who want love too fast usually haven't learned how to love themselves slowly. Look, anybody can make you feel butterflies. But butterflies aren't the goal. The goal is security, consistency, and depth. A partner who grows with you, not just grabs you. One of the most dangerous things you can do is confuse emotional hunger with emotional connection. Just because someone fills a void doesn't mean they're your voice. Like Cinderella did, just because they came in fast doesn't mean they'll last long. Cinderella, impatience makes you settle, and selling is the silent killer of destiny. It doesn't scream. It doesn't crash into your life loudly. Cinderella, it just slowly erodes your standards, your self-worth, your expectations. Cinderella, until one day you wake up and realize you've built a life around but good enough instead of meant for me. Cinderella, you stop reaching for what you deserve and start clinging to whatever is available. Not because it's right, but because it's here. Cinderella, we settle when we're tired of waiting. We settle when fear whispers, or maybe this is all there is. But hear this loud and clear. Cinderella, impatience is not a flaw in timing, it's a flaw in trust. Because when you don't trust the process, you grab what's closest, Cinderella, not what's best. And what's closest is often a distraction in disguise. Look at relationships, Cinderella. How many people jump into something half-baked, half-hearted, Cinderella, with someone who gives half effort, all because they were tired of being alone. You say, he's not perfect, but at least he's here, Cinderella. You convince yourself to accept the bare minimum, even when your soul is starving for real connection, Cinderella. You stay in conversations that drain you, relationships that shrink you, Cinderella, and dynamics that make you question your worth, just because you couldn't wait any longer, Cinderella. Impatience tells you to ignore the red flags. It tells you to trade chemistry for chaos. It makes you mistake attention for love, Cinderella, rooting for loyalty, and presence for purpose. You stop asking the hard questions because you're too desperate to fill the silence, Cinderella. And suddenly, you're building a future in one who was never built to stay. Here's a powerful example, Cinderella. A man was so desperate for success he jumped on the first opportunity that came his way, Cinderella. A business deal that looked promising but came with partners who didn't align with his values, Cinderella. He ignored his instinct because the money looked good. Within a year, everything fell apart. Not because he wasn't talented, Cinderella, but because he was impatient. If he had waited just a little longer, he would have found a team that believed in integrity and impact, Cinderella. Instead, he settled for temporary gain and suffered long-term loss. That's the cost of impatience. Trade peace for pressure, Cinderella. You choose fast over fruitful. You settle for surviving when you were made to thrive. There's a reason growth takes time, Cinderella. Trees don't bear fruit overnight. Diamonds don't form without pressure, and solid foundations aren't built in a rush. Rella, you want a life that lasts. You want love that nourishes. Then you have to reject the temptation to settle. You have to say, oh no, Rella, I won't accept less just because I'm tired of waiting. You have to believe that what's for you is worth the delay, Rella. That your standards aren't too high. They're just too real for people who live on the surface, Rella. That the ride won't ask you to shrink, to beg, or to compromise your values. And it's not just about romantic love, Rella. Impatience will make you settle in friendships, in careers, and self-worth, Rella. You'll accept disrespect in jobs because you're afraid to start over, Rella. You'll allow people in your life who drain your energy just because you're scared of being alone. But the truth is, Rella, sometimes solitude is a sacred space where your strength is reborn. Sometimes, Rella, what you call loneliness is actually alignment pulling you away from what doesn't serve you. You weren't created for crumbs, Rella. You weren't designed to live in survival mode. But as long as you let impatience drive your decisions, Rella, you'll continue building a life that reflects your fear instead of your faith. Because when you settle, Rella, you don't just lower the bar for others, you lower the bar for yourself. Healing needs time, not timeline, Rella. But society doesn't tell you that. It tells you to move on, you could get over it, Rella. A bounce back like you're a machine, and not a soul that's been bruised. Pain doesn't care about your schedule, Rella. It doesn't heal because a month has passed. Real healing has no stopwatch, no deadline, no expiration date, Rella. Healing happens in layers, not linear paths. And the more you try to rush your healing, Rella, you risk opening wounds that we're still learning how to close. People will say, oh, but it's been 6 months. Rella, you should be fine by now. As if your heartbreak came with an instruction manual. As if trauma has an expiry date. Rella, as if grief follows a calendar. No. The truth is healing takes what it takes. Rella, and sometimes what it takes is longer than others can understand. Think it like this. If you broke your leg, Rella, no one would expect you to sprint the next day. They'd give you a cast. They'd give you rest. They'd give you rest. Rella, so why don't we treat emotional wounds with the same grace? Just because people can't see your brokenness doesn't mean it is as real. Rella, emotion healing is silent, invisible, and sacred, and deserves space. So many people rush into new relationships, new jobs, Rella, new distractions just to feel better, but feeling better is the same as being better. You can bury pain beneath new experiences, Rella, but it will still echo in your silence. Healing means facing what hurt you, not escaping it, Rella. It means letting the tears come without apology. It means forgiving yourself on the days you feel like you've gone backwards, Rella. One powerful example. A woman went a devastating breakup after years of investing in someone who never truly saw her. Rella. Friends told her to go out there. But start dating again. But don't waste time. But she knew her heart wasn't ready. Rella. She turned inward instead. Therapy, solitude, journaling, prayer. She didn't date for 2 years. And in that quiet space, Rella, she rediscovered who she was without the weight of being chosen. When she finally did meet someone new, Rella, she was no longer searching to be healed. She was already whole. Rella. That's the beauty of giving your heart the time it needs instead of forcing it to match what others expect. Rella, healing isn't always beautiful. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's crying in the shower, questioning your worth. Rella, fighting the urge to go back to what broke you just because it was familiar. Rella, sometimes healing isn't learning everything you thought love was. Sometimes it's accepting that closure never came. Rella, and still choosing to move forward anyway. And here's the raw truth. Some days, healing will feel like nothing is changing. Rella, like you're stuck. But even in the stillness, transformation is happening. Like a wound beneath a bandage. Rella, it's forming new skin where there was once only pain. You can't see the growth immediately, but it's real. It's sacred, Rella, and it's yours. Don't compare your healing to someone else's highlight reel. Rella, they might look okay on the outside, be breaking inside. You taking your time, honoring your pace, that's not weakness. Rella, that's wisdom. That's strength. That's courage in its truest form. There is no trophy for healing the fastest. Rella, no gold medal for pretending you're fine. The only reward worth fighting for is peace. Rella, not the fake kind you post for Instagram. The deep, quiet peace that says, I faced the worst, and I still chose to rise. Rella, healing isn't about proving anything. It's about becoming everything you were always meant to be. Even after the heartbreak, Rella, even after trauma, even after life tried you in disappointment. Rella, patience attracts peace. Not the kind of peace that's silent on the outside but screaming inside. Rella, not the kind that's temporary or built on avoidance. I'm talking about real, deep, Rella, soul-level peace, the kind that wraps around when you know you're not forcing anything in your life. Rella, when you know that what's meant for you will find you, not because you chased it down. Rella, but because you aligned yourself for it to arrive. Patience isn't weakness. It's quiet power. Rella, it's the ability to stand still while the storm is raging, knowing the winds will pass and you'll still be standing. Rella, stronger than ever. In today's world, everything's instant. One click to connect. One swipe to fall in love. Rella, one post to feel validated. But things that truly matter, healing, purpose, love, identity, those things don't respond to speed. Rella, they respond to alignment. They respond to preparation. And most of all, they respond to patience. When you're patient, you stop chasing people who don't see your value. You stop explaining your worth to those committed to misunderstanding it. You stop running validation and start walking in quiet confidence. That calm, unshakable presence. That's peace. And it doesn't come when you force life. It comes when you flow with it. Think of a woman who constantly found herself in toxic relationships. Every time she met someone, she would rush into it, hoping this one would finally be the right one. But each time the same cycle repeated. Chaos, confusion, and disappointment. Until one day she made a decision. No more rushing, no more forcing. She chose patience. She chose to sit with herself, learn herself, love herself. And in that space, her energy changed, Her peace became so magnetic that the right man just noticed her, he respected her. He didn't try to rush her, He met her where she was because her patience had created peace. And that peace attracted someone who came in peace, not chaos. Patience teaches you to stop fighting battles that aren't yours. To stop proving your worth in rooms you don't belong in. To stop reacting to every trigger, every delay, every closed door. Patience lets you breathe in moments where others panic. It keeps you from falling apart just because something didn't go according to your timeline. When you're patient, you don't need constant reassurance. You're not easily shaken. You're not jumping from one distraction to another trying to fill the void. You've learned how to sit in the silence without losing your mind. That's powerful. Because a person who is patient is not at the mercy of the world's chaos. They walk with an inner calm that no one can disturb. Imagine standing in a long line at the airport. Everyone around you is complaining, shouting, stressed. But you've got your headphones in, your book open, your energy untouched. That's what patience looks like in life. Not because the situation changed, but because you did. Patience isn't passive. It's purposeful. It means you trust that what's coming is greater than what you're rushing toward. It means you value your peace so much. You'd rather wait alone than entertain energy that disturbs your calm. That's the kind of peace that can't be bought, borrowed, or stolen. It's slowly, silently, patiently. You don't attract peace by hustling harder. You attract peace by learning to wait well. Not with anxiety, not with bitterness, but with faith. Faith that every delay is divine. Faith that every not yet is wrapped in wisdom. Faith that what's truly yours will never require you to lose your peace in order to keep it. Success without patience is failure in disguise. It looks good on the outside, shiny car, big title, followers, fame. But behind the scenes, it's Bill Umbernax, correct security, shortcuts, and a resolved pain. You see, when you rush success, you might attention, but you won't gain alignment. You might win the crowd, but you lose yourself. That's not success, a ticking time bomb wrapped in applause. Real success is never rushed. It's cultivated. It's grown. It's stretched through seasons of delay, discomfort, and discipline. When you chase speed instead of strategy, you build a tower on sand instead of stone. And when the storms come and they will call, comes crashing down. Look, the word of social media influencers. One day someone goes viral, gains 1 million followers, starts selling every from skincare to soul advice. And then a year later, where are they? Gone. Why? Because they chased virality, not value. They didn't build roots, they bit reactions. And success without roots is a recipe for collapse. Let's look at a real life example. There was a young man who launched a startup with nothing but ambition and hype. He wanted success, he borrowed copy others, and scaled before understanding his own mission. Within 2 years it all fell apart. Not because he lacked vision, but because he lacked patience. He built wide but not deep. He reached heights his foundation couldn't handle. Now contrast that with someone who spent years developing their brand in silence. They studied. They failed quietly. They built connections not for clout but for character. And when they finally launched, they were ready not just for the spotlight, but for the weight that came with it. That's the difference patience makes. Without patience, you'll grab opportunities you're not equipped for. You'll accept roles you can't sustain. You mistake noise for impact. And slowly, success will become the very thing that drains you instead of fulfilling you. Patience is what builds sustainability. It's what prepares your heart for the influence you crave. Because success without wisdom is dangerous. Fame without discipline is toxic. Money without maturity is destructive. If you don't let time develop your vision, your vision will destroy your time. You'll be busy but not productive. You'll be seen but not known. You'll be applauded, but not at peace. Think of a tree. You can water it every day, but it won't grow overnight. You can't pull its branches to make it tall. You nurture. You trust the roots. And in time it bears fruit. That's true success, slow, steady, you want love. You build patience, you want legacy. Build patience. You want purpose-driven success that lasts. Build patience. When you have patience, you say no to quick wins in favor of long-term impact. You walk away from trends, stay true to your truth. You resist the urge to prove yourself because you know time will. You don't chase what's hot, you cultivate what's honest. And here's the kicker, real success doesn't just elevate your life, it elevates others through you. And that kind of power needs patience to carry. Because if you arrive before you're ready, success become a burden, not a blessing. Rella, you look successful, but feel lost. You'll wear the crown, but carry the chains. Rella, that's not winning, that's disguised failure dressed up as fame. Rella, and now, let this truth settle in your soul. Patience isn't just a quiet virtue, it's a loud declaration your self-worth. Rella, it's you telling the world, but I refuse to rush what was meant to be sacred. Rella, I refuse to settle for crumbs when I was created for a feast. If patience is the secret language of people who know their value. Rella, people who are not shaken by other people's timelines. People who aren't moved by pressure. Rella, because they know what's theirs will always come, never late, just perfectly on time. Rella, you won't know why some people shine forever while others fade fast. It's because one group chose to wait well. Rella, and the other chose rush wrong. Let the world chase instant gratification. Rella, let them post their fast wins and flex their temporary trophies. But you're building something that lasts. Rella, you're not here to impress, you're here to impact. You're not chasing moments, you're constructing a movement. Rella, don't let delay discourage, let it develop you. Don't let silence make you doubt, let it strengthen your spirit. Rella, some of the most powerful chapters of your life will be written in seasons when no one is clapping, no one is watching. Rella, and no one understands your discipline. Stay patient. Because when God gets ready to move, Rella, everything you waited for will be worth it and more. And remember this, you don't need to prove your greatness in a hurry. Rella, Martin Luther King Jr. didn't say, "I have a plan." He said, "I have a dream." Dreams take time to unfold, time to breathe. Rella, time mature. If your dream is big, don't panic about the pause. Use it, grow in it, rest in it. Let it shape you, stretch you, Rella, and sharpen you. You're not late, you are in divine alignment. You're not behind or in preparation. Patience isn't punishment. Rella, it's protection. Because when you rush whence to bloom slowly, you rob it of its power. Rella, and you rob yourself the glory in the journey. Take it from the legends. Rella, Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in before he led a nation to freedom. Rella, Oprah was fired from her first job for not being fit for television. Rella, Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before the world met Harry Potter. What if they gave up just before the door opened? Rella, what if you are steps away from the life you've been praying for, but your impatience convinces you to turn around? Rella, you're being molded in the waiting. You're being built in the quiet. Rella, don't underestimate what God is doing just because you don't see it yet. Some of the most beautiful transformations happen in silence. Rella, a caterpillar doesn't announce it's become a butterfly. It just emerges one day completely different, completely powerful. So, Rella, speak this over your life. I will not rush. I will not chase. I will not shrink to fit someone else's urgency. Rella, I will trust divine timing. I will honor my process, and I will rise when I'm ready. Let others sprint. You walk, Rellas. You walk with grace. You walk with intention. You walk like someone who knows. My peace is too expensive to trade for pressure, Rella. And my purpose is too valuable to give to the impatient. Because in the end, the ones who waited well are the ones who won right, Rella. Not the fastest, but the loudest, and the most grounded, the most patient, and the most aligned. Keep your pace. Keep your power. Relic your peace. The world will soon see why patience was always your superpower.